You're listening to AI PRISM from Seoul Economic Daily.
It's Thursday, June 25th. Here's what today's story could mean for the Korean market.
Right, let's jump straight into it.
Yeah, so just to give you the immediate data, the hashtag KOSPI closed at 8,471 on June 24, recovering 3.26% from a historic 9.99% crash the prior session.
Which was a wild ride for anyone watching the boards.
Oh, absolutely. And today we're doing a deep dive into the structural pressures facing you, the investor, right now. Because underneath that wild price action, you're looking at three very specific forces driving this volatility.
Right. Institutional capital flight, extreme currency levels, and this trapdoor of leveraged ETFs.
Exactly. So let's start with the liquidity drain, because that is the first major pressure point.
Yeah, it's intense. Over just 4 sessions, foreign investors net sold 11.7 trillion won.
Wow.
Yeah. That is approximately 7.6 billion USD just pulled out of the market in less than a week.
Wait, 7.6 billion US dollars yanked out in just 4 days.
And concurrently, the USD KRW exchange rate closed at 1,541.8, hitting a 17-year high.
I mean, that is massive capital flight. With that kind of institutional money leaving the room, the market's usual safety net completely vanishes.
Oh, totally.
And that extreme exchange rate just compounds the pain, making Korean assets look incredibly volatile to, well, anyone holding dollars.
Yeah.
But I need to push back on how localized this feels.
Okay, sure.
How exactly does a hashtag KOSPI shock physically reach across the Pacific to force U.S. tech stocks like Micron down 13.18%? It feels like a forced margin call on autopilot.
Well, that is exactly what it is. It's a margin call without a human hitting the button.
Right.
This is the short gamma effect in action. You have a 9 billion USD Samsung and SK Hynix leveraged ETF complex.
Okay.
And because these are 2x leveraged funds, when the market drops, their risk exposure effectively balloons.
Oh, got it.
Right. So to get back to their target 2x ratio, the underlying math forces them to mechanically sell off assets right as prices are falling.
Wait, so the algorithm just blindly dumps shares because the math demands it?
Yep.
Which pushes the price down further,
Right.
which then triggers more selling? I mean, it's a vicious cycle.
Precisely. It creates a structural cascade. And with 74.8 trillion won in combined leverage exposure sitting out there, this loop remains fully intact for any secondary market drop of 5% or more.
Okay, so if the foreign capital is fleeing and the algorithms are primed to sell, normally we'd expect domestic pension funds to step in, right?
You would think so, yeah.
Because they usually act as the shock absorber for the market.
Right.
But they've been dumping shares. So what does this all mean for your portfolio at the next open?
Well, you really have to ask if the expiration of the pension fund's equity rebalancing waiver removes the market's domestic anchor bid, cementing that 2.3 trillion won in recent net selling as a structural headwind. Looking ahead, overnight Micron earnings and the upcoming 45.45 trillion won, or 29.5 billion USD, SK Hynix Nasdaq ADR listing on July 10th will directly dictate if the next open catches a fundamental bid or triggers another forced selling cascade. Ultimately, that historic pension overhang means foreign capital must now do the heavy lifting to sustain any market recovery.
Wow, okay. So we are staring down a market stripped of its safety nets, basically completely dependent on foreign buyers stepping back in before those algorithmic trapdoors open again.
Exactly. Which leaves you with one final question to ponder. If global appetite for the SK Hynix ADR falters at the 1,658 USD conversion price, will the 17-year high exchange rate act as a discount incentive or a fatal deterrent?
That's today's AI PRISM, Stock Investors. This episode was produced with AI assistance based on Seoul Economic Daily reporting and reviewed by a human editor. AI PRISM is a Juan Ifro award-winning series. We'll be back tomorrow.
You've been listening to AI PRISM from Seoul Economic Daily.